All right, here we are talking about Nashville. Gonna be approaching this video with more of things that I want to throw at you to remember or at least be aware of entering this week. When we've looked back at these races this year, we've seen multiple lap leaders. We've seen guys run into issues either on pit road, they have a flat tire, whatever the case is. We're seeing at least a couple leaders, okay, in these races. Entering this week at Nashville, I do not think the optimal line is going to look like it did last year, okay? I want to start off by looking at the bottom of the salary and start going up. I don't know if you guys like build as many lines as I do or, punt as much as I do, but when we look at the optimal lines that we've seen this year, it's been very much, Corey LaJoie being optimal, Ty Dillon being optimal, Todd Gillen being optimal. But another factor behind that is we haven't had men's salary in a while. DraftKings has been really tight in terms of what they're pricing guys at the bottom of the barrel, and especially because we've had such a small field this year of usually just 36 cars. It really then just defaults to one or two viable plays at the bottom, and the other guys not even be they can't even be considered just because. If you got LaJoie at $4,900, if you got Todd Gillen at $4,900, whatever the case is, the cheapest guy who is going to score the most out of him, or at least score close to what the other guys around him score, ends up being optimal. I want to bring up that we do have multiple guys in the 4K range this weekend, and specifically JJ Gailey at $4,500. Oh my God. Brandon's already talked about the punts. This guy has gone off the deep end. He's way off the ranch again. I'm not saying build all 20 of your lines with JJ Gailey, but I think it's worth building 4 lines with JJ Gailey this week. I think JJ is viable right now. Now, if he goes and qualifies 21st, don't even bother asking me. That's a no. But if JJ Gailey starts, third, fourth to last, somewhere around there, I think it can look that way. And I understand, if you look back at last year's race, you're going to be like, that doesn't make any sense. Clearly Larson just killed the field. He ran away with the race. Yes, but I don't think this year's race at Nashville is going to go like last year's race with Nashville did. And this is the optimal lines for last year, which you can get if you're part of the Patreon, where you can look through not only this year's, but last year's, the years before. And we got tons of stats here. We pull the notes from NASCAR as well. Tons of things on the screen, but when we start looking at the total points, it's very interesting when you look at how this race played out. And, what is this? 22 points for $4,700. Now, granted, he did finish 15th. Granted, this race, they get kind of stupid late in the race. But that's not too bad, Actually, that's I'm an idiot. That is finishing points, not the finish. The finish is right here. When you look at Balicki at 27th, I looked at this earlier. I was like, why is it 15th now? Balicki at 27th isn't incredibly bad. BJ McLeod at 29, that's not bad. When we look at David Starr, yeah, sure, he was in the slow car. It was in one of the Rick Ware cars. I don't think he finished the race. Off the top of my head, I don't remember right now. But even when you look at Chad Fincham, clearly these are the slowest cars, not going to be able to do much. But when you look even at Quinn Houff, this is the one where his tire came off. Let me look. Yes, so, perfect example. If you remember last year, Quinn Houff was men's salary close to bottom. Yeah, Quinn Houff was men's salary, and he was somewhat decently chalky for this Nashville race. I cannot recall right now, but I remember everybody gave me just a tub of shit for saying I want to play Quinn Houff because the crew member didn't put the tire on. His tire came off right off the bat. I think even in all the other shows like Osimo or whatever the hell they're calling themselves now, even in their live show, they had guys asking, is Quinn Houff the play? We're seeing Quinn Houff at 8-9% ownership. We never got a chance to see it play out here. I'm not saying it's identical play between Quinn Houff and JJ Gailey, but when you look at how, and specifically how soft the pricing is up top this week, I think Gailey is viable. I think BJ McLeod is viable. And it's not necessarily, these guys are going to blow their value out of the water. No, it's not that at all. But it's a situation where, because you can basically fit in BJ, Bilicki, or Gailey, and specifically the bottom two guys, which is BJ and Gailey, you can fit in more lap leaders. Now, not only did Quinhalf wreck last year, but Larson also just obliterated the field, so it didn't necessarily go that way. So you did see very much a balanced type of line with $400 left over. Entering this weekend's race at Nashville, I don't think we're going to see that. And it all goes back to, yet again, how I started this of talking about, we're seeing guys take the lead on pit road. We're seeing guys show some speed and pass, between the top portions of the race, or at least the top 6 drivers are able to somewhat move up. You also have a situation where last year you didn't have it, to where you're going to have good cars yet again starting 11th to 15th that are most likely going to be top 5 cars by the end of the day. A lot of things are going into this race that I don't think were necessarily showing up last year at Nashville, because it was Larson's year. It was Larson's season. It was the end of the Gen 6. Hendrick had such a gigantic lead, and the car fit into what Larson's strong suit was. It was a no contender between him and everybody else. That's why nobody else led in the race last year. But when we start looking at this year, let me move this back off the screen. When we start looking at this year, actually, let me bring up one throwback. Hold on, give me a second. All right, here we go. Blast. Good old. We haven't seen this in a while. I think I am going to use the ranking systems here to kind of talk you through this. I also want to add that entering this, because I was busy, salaries came out. I was busy yesterday. Wasn't able to make the Cup Series video. I was going to go in and rank the drivers on what I wanted to rank them as, and I'm not saying this specifically to just not give away what is in the sheet, but I log in today, look at the Nashville Cup sheet, and I see that Pearce has done exactly what I wanted to do. He's ranked them by what I was going to end up ranking people, and I'm not going to exactly go through them in the same order that it's ranked, just because I don't want to be giving that stuff away. I want to at least kind of protect, the Patreon supporters. Certainly this late in the month, I don't want to give anything away for free. I'll save that for, the start of the month to try and get people to join, try and help us out. But Pearce has sorted these guys by exactly what I was going to end up sorting them by. And it's very telling, and it's very contradicting or fighting what DraftKings has these guys labeled as in their pricing range. And so for me personally, I am not big on Larson. I also want to add, and I've said it a lot, I'm trying to get it back into your heads, because I've been incredibly happy that I've gotten guys at low ownership, and then they wreck, and then, they haven't worked out. But there is absolutely, I'm telling you, I know you're gonna know. I know I repeat stuff a lot, but I'm just trying to help you guys out. I am very, very, very annoyed and mad that Hamlin was, I think, 11% owned at Darlington. Kyle Busch was 11, 10, 12%. Hamlin was 11% owned at Dover. Kyle Busch, 10 to 12, 14, I forgot what it was at Darlington. Martin Truex Jr., single digits at Gateway. Ladies and gentlemen, this isn't any picks things. This ain't like you don't have to build 150 fucking lines to get 10% of these guys, okay? It's not like, oh, I'm building 150 lines, I need to have, Truex in some of the line. No, like, by default, an unspoken rule, just real quick, Larson, Kyle Busch, Elliott, Chastain, Hamlin, Byron, Truex. I would throw in Blainey, Logano, and Bell. All these 10 drivers here, ladies and gentlemen, by bare minimum, every single week, you should have 10 to 15% of each of these drivers. This isn't a, oh my God, just play everybody. But it's a sense of, if you're building 10 lines, have one of these guys in each and every line. Most likely one of these guys will be your primary targets each and every week, so you can just bump those up to 40, 45%. But even the guys that you aren't on, there's no reason to not have these guys in lines, because we're seeing multiple times this year that they're going to be there. like Truex. Okay, Truex, he's a bit washed up. He's not marrying his dying girlfriend. He's going to retire. Okay, I'm still going to play 10, 15% Truex each and every week because he's going to get the lead on pit road sometimes. Okay, same thing with Hamlin. Hamlin is going to be an extremely fast car this week. Regardless of not if he's your primary target or not, bare men each and every week have that amount of Hamlin. Same thing with Kyle Busch. Same thing with Larson. If it's a week where, and this is where I'm also taking the stand of up here in terms of potential lap leaders. I'm trying not to exactly fade people. Granted, I'm more overweight on all these guys. Like these 10 drivers this week, I'll most likely have 25% bare men of each of them because that's more so how I get over the field versus just doing a straight up fade. But each of these guys should be in your lines. It's just baffling, absolutely baffling to me that we've seen one Joe Gibbs driver each and every week near 10 or under 10% ownership. Like that's just incredibly stupid. You're playing the game wrong at that point. You know, that's what it is. That's what it's been. Anyway, going real quick of how I look at these drivers and how I look at these races. I don't think Larson deserves to be the highest owned guy this week. I don't see it from Larson. Now, in terms of, well, if I split hairs, yes, Larson will be a top 5 contender here. But Larson is not my favorite going into this week. And so in terms of rankings, as I just said, I would advise, and as I just said, I would advise to at least have some. Larson's the one guy here that I do kind of not want to have any ownership to. Mainly due to the fact that I like a lot of other people in this range, a lot of other people really down to Harvick. I like a lot of people in this range. I like the bottom of the barrel drivers, the value range, and I don't think Larson leads in this race. I don't think he wins. I don't think he necessarily shows the speed to be there. We've seen that he has not been the best car this year. At other tracks, yes, but when we look at specifically at intermediate tracks, okay, whatever. You know, he had the third best car at Kansas. Way to go. At all the other intermediate tracks, he's a fringe 4th, 5th place driver. He's not a priority for me. And so in terms of rankings, he is not there. Like he's truly one of my least interested guys this weekend. When we look at Kyle Busch, I think Kyle Busch is going to be in play. I think Joe Gibbs Racing is going to be in play, and that goes back to why I just went on that tangent of why are these guys not owned? Hell, I keep saying it. We said it. Wow. Everybody, you got lucky. I think I had 2 lives with Hamlin at Dover. He was about to whoop the field. He was about to absolutely break the fucking slate. It would have been over. If you didn't have Hamlin at Dover, it was over. His team lost the tire on pit road. We got absolutely saved because a low-owned Denny Hamlin was about to run away with the race. It was insane. When we went to Darlington, Kyle Busch, low-owned Kyle Busch, about to break the slate. It's insane. Oh, and not only did Hamlin lose the tire, he was then going to drive back up through the field and then kill the field again, and then Cody Ware took him out. Like, you got saved twice at Dover. Darlington, you got saved because not only did Kyle get in a wreck, everybody else, turned to wreck at that point, but Kyle Busch had a fantastic car there. Okay, like, Joe Gibbs is going to be here. Joe Gibbs is my primary team that I think is going to show up here. Okay, and so for me, I love Kyle Busch. He's hitting everything I want to hit. Kyle Busch should be the most expensive driver here. I think Kyle Busch should be closer to 12. To be honest with you, I think this is a gigantic discount. I think him being cheaper than Kyle Larson is preposterous. I think he should be higher, and I think Larson should be maybe the 4th or 5th most expensive driver. The pricing on Larson doesn't make any sense to me right now. Now, look, practice speed can show us something different, but right now it's insane that Kyle Busch is cheaper than Larson. When we look at Chase Elliott, his saving grace is on pit road. That's primarily where I see him getting that. I'm going to move Larson down to a B so I can more aggressively look at these guys. He would be, Elliott is going to be, if I build lines with Elliott, he'll be my 3rd lap leader in a line. Like a guy who can get the lead or get fast laps on and off throughout a run, can get the lead on pit road because he has been extremely fast on pit road. That's one of the main pushing points towards Elliott and this car. Can we all just agree? I know I'm a bit, amped up today. I'm a bit, I'm pretty loud. But Like, can we all agree this car is a fucking bust? Like, this next gen car sucks a major dick. It's not even funny. Compared to last year, you can't do anything. Road courses are terrible. They broke it on short tracks. Even in intermediates, it has dirty air. The dirty air is dumped outside the right rear. We've seen it time and time again. If the leader is running the middle lane, oh, but he's just taking the lane away from the guy on the outside. He's taking... Yeah, you know what that means? You're dumping air on the guy on the outside, and it's hurting the outside lane. The guy can't pass you on the outside. The only way to pass in this car is to pass the inside. You cannot get around on the outside. That's just how it is, especially under green with cars that are pretty much close to even speed. If the leader is running the middle or top, you're SOL if you're the second car. You know, like, you just are. You know, that's how it is. And I think we're going to see that play a huge part here. I think your leaders are going to be changed out on pit road. I do think we're going to see about 3 to 4 leaders. Like I said, I don't think it's going to be a 1 leader race like we saw last year. But I don't think we're going to see much passing in under green flag conditions. Not only because it's such a tight racetrack, you're going to end up dealing with being tight entering 3 and certainly out of 2. If you're side by side, or if you're side by side, you're at a gigantic disadvantage of somebody running single file in front of you because they don't have to deal with, sharing the track with anyone. The leader's most likely going to pull away. It's going to be based on pit road here. When we get to Ross Chastain, I think Chastain has been the second best driver on intermediate tracks this entire year. And look, I hate. Sonoma was a joke. It was unbelievable. I can't believe Cliff Daniels, you're an idiot. Like, you're a moron. Hendrick Motorsports, hey, you can pay me $60. Next time you go to Sonoma, don't even waste time paying the crew chief. Okay, give him a week off. I'll go up there, just be like, look, if we got the fastest car, I'm pitting you before the end of the stage, Kyle Larson. You can't pit in these cars. You're not going to be able to get that track position back. If good old, Christian Boy McDowell, I'm not trying to make fun of his religion. I just can't I can't come up with a different name. Generic. Okay, fine. If generic backmarker McDowell can maintain a running position in the top 10, that should be an indication to you that we shouldn't pit here. Anyway, Trackhouse is there. Trackhouse is, I think they're head to head with Hendrick. Like, if we look at the teams in the Cup Series, I think it's Joe Gibbs, I think it's Hendrick and Trackhouse side by side, and then it's a gigantic drop off between the rest of the field. Penske is somewhere in that drop off, but they are not there with those 3 teams. Chastain is going to have speed under green. He has the pit crew. I think he's the second best car, and you're quickly seeing that my rankings are how I would actually be pricing people. I think Kyle Busch and Chastain should be the most expensive. I think it should go down from that. Anyway, I love Hamlin. I think Hamlin is going to be really, really good this week. Not the primary guy I'm leaning towards. I like Kyle Busch. I like Chastain. I specifically love Byron right here for $9,900. It's so soft up top. It's no longer, can I fit this guy in over this guy? No, it's like, let's just rank these guys straight up, and Byron's going to be a good play. I think Byron's going to be there. He has struggled here and there on some intermediate tracks this year, but I like Byron here for the price. I like Truex for the price, and when we're looking at the 2 guys specifically that I like to win this race, it's Chastain and Kyle Busch. Once we get past that, I think it's Hamlin and Byron competing for it, and then, we'll fit in a Chase Elliott, we'll fit in a Larson, we'll fit in a Truex. But Truex is underpriced. I still don't think people are going to play him based on, oh, he's old, he's washed up. Come on, throw him in some lines, people. Come on, don't just fade Truex. I know he's boring. I know you don't like him, but come on. It makes no sense to do that. Blainey is right on the fringe of top 10s at intermediate tracks this year. In terms of pricing, him being the 8th most expensive guy, I think this makes a lot of sense. I think he's right where he should be. I don't think he's gonna. He's got to show up with Penske's got to show up, as I just kind of rank the teams. Penske's got to show up with a fantastic setup right out of the gate to even compete with the guys who are going to be running for the lead here. And so for me, I would actually rather take Logano over Blainey, but these are where I'm at there. I love Christopher Bell. I think Bell is going to be a top 5 driver this weekend, and you can see that I am very high on Joe Gibbs entering this week, but I really like Christopher Bell. $9,100, a gigantic discount. I think he's probably the 5th or 6th best play, and I'm going to have a lot of Christopher Bell this weekend. I just know it, and this isn't dependent on if he qualifies good or bad. I think they're going to have good speed. When we look back at intermediate tracks this year, he's going to be there. I really, really do like Christopher Bell. When we get to Reddick, when we get to Bowman, even when we get to Harvick, that's why I open up that I really like this range here. And so you can really see kind of how I like and I want to build lines, and it's very easy to do. And it all kind of circles back to why I started talking about J.J. Gailey and the value drivers early in this video, because now you can see why I'm looking at that, why I like that approach, because I want to get 3 of these guys in these lines. 3 of these A, B, or C drivers, and mainly the A and B drivers, give me 3 of those guys in the line, call it a day. I think we got the winner there. I think we got multiple lap leaders. I think we got guys who are going to be getting fast laps, everything there. I like Kurt Busch. We'll gauge him based on practice speed, and then after that, I'm not going to be doing the rankings. I just kind of want to talk through drivers, because everybody from 8-1 to probably around 6-5 is going to be based on practice speeds and where they qualify, and if they can easily get to a 5x value from there. But yeah, I think that's why you should really be considering J.J. Gailey and B.J. McLeod here, and specifically J.J. Gailey, just due to the fact that he's $4,500. He's cheap. He's easy to make lines, and you can build a really good race here. The race is 300 laps, guys. That is a ton of lap-led points. That is a ton of fast lap points, and I want to chase those. So yeah, once we get through here, any of these guys could look good. We've seen that Almirola has been qualifying pretty well. We kind of looked at the pit data the other day, or the pit stall data, and we're seeing that Eric Almirola typically, whenever they do qualify well, and we've seen them qualifying well in his last year. Nobody talks about Eric Almirola. They've just already thrown him to the side. They're like, please retire Almirola. Nobody cares. But Stewart-Haas has been qualifying better and better. And if I see, Almirola actually have a good pit stall, I think he can maintain his running position. When we look and actually rank him everywhere, he's around 18th, 17th best fastest, or 17th-ish fastest on intermediate tracks. And I'm not looking at green flag speed. I'm looking at road rating and stuff. I love Eric Jones at 7,300. He was one that really popped out for me. I've been playing a lot of Eric Jones this year. I don't hate it. I'll probably end up with him. I'm leaning more towards being open to Cindric and Suarez as we're getting through here. Yeah, each and every week, these ranges here and these guys here who are clearly not going to compete for the win unless they either qualify up front or just have outrageous practice speed. But normally these guys are priced, and they're going to run about where they are. I just think the Eric Jones price is a bit cheap. But past these guys, it's going to be based on where they're at in terms of practice speeds and stuff. And even when you rank Eric Jones is near a top 10 driver. That's why I just don't agree with the $73 price. I'm probably going to end up having a ton of Eric Jones, because he's probably going to be the one guy I get to in this range. Then I wouldn't be shocked if let me just see what it looks like real fast. If you go Jones and J.J. Gailey, $9,500. Are you fucking kidding me? That... It really looks like a week where that will be at least 2 or 3 of my lines, to where Jones is the cheapest driver outside of Gailey in my lines based on what he's being shown, what he's showing on track. Come on, guys, let's look through. Let's see, how he's been running. Gateway. I know Gateway's an intermediate track, but seeing the speed is good to see. And he stayed out, led laps, not a true him leading laps or being up there, I'm not expecting for that. But 9th best at Gateway, 13th best at Charlotte, 23rd, 24th best at Kansas, I think he got in a wreck, went a lap down. I forgot exactly what happened at Kansas. Darlington, 11th, 13th at Dover. Like, come on, he's there. His pricing doesn't make any sense being the 19th most expensive guy. It just doesn't line up. He should be closer. He should be in the 8K range. He should legit be in this range here and not in the 7K range. So that's why I like Eric Jones so much there. And then, I mean, that's really the main takeaway. I don't necessarily just like going through each and every driver. Well, Keselowski can work here and there, which Keselowski has shown speed. AJ Allmendinger in Colleague Racing has been showing improvement in speed. Austin Dillon, when he has a good pit stall and when his team is on fire, he can be a top 10 or top 15 contender. But the rest of these guys are contingent on where they are in practice, where they are in unloading the trailer. And in fact, this range is really kind of dead. Like, in the next real ranking I want to be at is here, where I would probably rank it Gillen in terms of speed and what they could do. Probably Gillen, probably McDowell, and then both these guys are very, very fishy. It just depends on where they're starting, what they can do. This is where we're at. I mean, I think this is the approach that we should be taking here. J.J. Gailey should be looked at. Or if he completely just overqualifies like a Chad, consider BJ. Either way, either of these guys, BJ McLeod, JJ Gailey at the bottom, these guys in the 5K range, because one of them is going to work. One of them is going to hit good value at some point in this race here. And they're most likely to be better value than the 6K ranges, and even maybe some of the 7K until you get to Jones, until you get to Suarez, until you get to Briscoe, until you get to Cindric. And then once you get to that point, you're trying to chase your lap leaders to where entering this week, Kyle Busch, Chastain, Denny Hamlin, William Byron, Christopher Bell. Those are the guys I like as your primary lap leaders. Outside of that, we're just kind of filling in and trying to cover bases. And yeah, don't sleep on Truex Jr. I'm telling you, I don't think he's going to win, but in terms of fantasy points, $9,700, 7th highest driver who can get fast laps. Who can specifically, if this race does go green, Truex Jr. is going to be one of the first to short pit. That is how you gain the lead in green flag races. You short pit, you get those tires on the car, you run those fast laps when the leader's staying out. You're one of the first guys on pit road like that. I mean, that's the type of way that Truex is viable. Same thing can be said with Hamlin, with Kyle Busch. You know, like, I'm not trying to just be like, oh my, I'm not trying to just shake you and focus on Truex, but I'm trying to shake you and show you that, look, we're seeing guys that are just on their own. Like, ownership should be directly correlated with the with their percentage of being optimal. Okay? And I fucking swear to Christ, if I see a Joe Gibbs driver this weekend near 11% ownership, I'm going to lose it. Okay? Thank you guys for watching. Consider supporting us on Patreon when the month of July comes around on the 1st. And yeah, I'll see you guys in live shows and everything from that. So thank you for being here. And yeah, see you guys later.